Hi there, welcome back to the Board Game Specialist. I'm Carla,
And I'm Melanie.
and today we are talking about Car Treat. So we
Yes.
had originally possibly mentioned that we were going to do a different episode, but we delayed it a couple weeks
Well,
because we were so busy
and we
and we
kind of
had done a
forgot.
review. So then we had Car Treat, so we thought, let's do this one while it's fresh in our mind. So,
Yes. No, that's, you know what? Like, that makes sense. I'm behind on my top 9 of the month on Mel's board game room, and I'm going through April right now. And I was like, I didn't play this game. When did I play this game? What's this game even about? And I'm going through pictures. I'm like, oh, I've played this game. So it's good that we're doing it fresh because my memory
yeah,
is not the best. But yeah, because we skipped a week
I think we skipped
accidentally on
two. Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah, no, we were super busy and we had luckily just recorded a review on your channel.
Right.
So that was kind
We're
of
like,
our recording time. And so then we kind of skipped a week, but it's summer.
because I
It
was like, I
happens.
don't have this, and she's like, oh, I have a week still. I'm like, she's like, oh no, and I was like, you know what? Let's just push it back.
Yeah,
Let's just not worry
life
about
gets
it.
busy.
If we were paid professional, we would treat this differently,
Right.
but
We do it for
until
fun.
we exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, let me bring the presentation here. So we have that. Now, Card Treat was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I only attended the Saturday, Sunday. How many people would you say attended?
It was around the 20 mark.
Okay.
Can't remember if it was more or less, but it
Yeah.
was just perfect amount because we were in one of the smaller venues. And Friday was kind of a free day. Um, so it was more like who could make it that day, and I didn't have any scheduled games, so we just
Yeah.
kind of planned a little bit to who was coming early, and then
Mm-hmm.
we just kind of free falled that day and did a
No, it's
few
good.
games, but super fun always. Like
Yes.
nothing better than, especially on a rainy weekend, to play board games because then you feel like there's nothing else you should be doing anyway.
Exactly. And yeah, like weather was not, like
No.
weather's been crap for a while here. It's because we bought
Well,
a boat.
yeah, well, Friday it was super hot, so it was very
Oh
hot.
no.
But then Saturday, Sunday it rained,
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
cooled
But
off and
yeah,
then
that's
nice.
perfect board game weather. So
Yeah,
that was great. All right. Now, before we get talking about the games we played at Car Treat, we're actually still going to talk about some games we've played recently. And as normal, we're going to start with you.
yeah. So this was actually after Car Treat, the day after. We both had
Oh,
talked about how we had a full weekend of gaming, and what's the one thing we want to do on Monday
game
is
some
play
more.
more games.
Yeah, 100%.
So it continued to rain, which for me that means I don't work because I'm at the golf course. So we were
Yeah.
closed the 2 days I was supposed to work, which oh darn, I had to stay at home and play board games.
Yes.
So this was one that I had. It was on my shelf of shame, and so I set it all up and played it. And it can be played solo. I always usually play games two-handed first to learn them, because
Yeah.
typically the solo mode's a little bit different, and I do like to learn the actual multiplayer game. So I set this up and played two-handed, and it's a really neat game. It's like a card drafting game, but the cards are kind of laid in a particular pattern depending how many players there are. And then you all
And
have
the
these
title?
little Tir Na Nog. Sorry, I thought I said it. Um, you all have these little player pieces, kind of like pawns, and then you are going to place them in between the cards. Now, you're going to place them in between two cards, not like on a corner of four cards. So you're going to place one in between two, and then the next
Oh,
player, and so on and so on. And when everyone's placed them all, then you're going to draft in turn order. And so if I was first, I can draft one of the cards that my pawn is touching. Even if you're touching that card as well, I can draft it. And then I take my pawn back and we keep drafting as we go. Now, sometimes you might end up not having a card because you had your pawn on two different cards that two other people took, and now you're kind of left in the abyss. Well, then
Right.
at the end, you get to draft what's left, kind of thing. So now with these cards, what you're going to do is every time you actually draft a card, you're going to play one. And you have these three scoring cards that are one on top of another. And those are kind of rows that you're going to play cards out in. And they each kind of have a different scoring method. So you're going to try and place these cards strategically to score as many points as you can from all these scoring cards. Now, it gets trickier because some of them, like, they don't contradict another, but they might conflict kind of with another. And you might have to
Okay.
be, like the top one might say every card in this column has to be different. And then, like, another card on the bottom might say every card in this row needs to be the same. So you need to kind of carefully plan so that you don't have cards that are the same. Now, you might not score every card in that row. Like, some of them might be for every pair of cards, or however, like if you want
Right.
all of one kind, but then the row above wants something different. So it's just kind of like a neat kind of planning game. Now, I did get the expansion. I don't have that pictured here because I tried the base first. And the
Right.
expansion adds a really neat thing that there's some modules, but the basic one I played with, because the other ones were for higher player count, is you're going to have this little scoreboard. And so after you draft all your cards, you're going to discard a card at the end of the round. And now that card that you discard is going to cut that color of card is going to move up a track. And at the end of the game, you're going to score your cards that are connected in color, like on your grid, according to what value those cards ended up as, whereas opposed to the base game, they would have the same type of value. Like, you would score all your connected green, all your connected blue, whoever has the highest number connected. Whereas here, some of them are going to move up a track real quite far, and those will be, I believe, worth more. So it just kind of varies that a little bit. But it's
Right.
it's quite a simple game. It's just the art is just gorgeous. It's kind of like that old, well, not old, but I want to
It
say
is neat.
Irish, but it's not. It's Celtic, I would say, kind of
Oh,
Celtic
yes.
art,
Yeah.
and just beautiful, and just a simple game like play in a half an hour. So one of those neat games you can pull out in between big games or beginning or end of the night, and you still feel like you're, doing a lot of
Nice.
crunchy thinking. But it was awesome, and I had wanted this game for a while. It was very hard to get here. They had, like, every once in a while you'd find it in stock, and then it was gone for months and months. And I mean, there was a few floating around in the used market, but they would get snatched up quite quickly. So I'm glad I got to experience this one, and I own this one. So, and it's a nice solo one too. Like, it's a very easy solo
Yeah.
one. I can just play in front of the TV or whatever. But so yeah, that's my game I'm talking about is Tir Na Nog.
Nice. Yeah. Cool looking game for sure.
Mhm.
All right. My game that I have played recently, I actually played it with you, and that was
Oh.
before Card Treat. And I want to say it wasn't like that long before Card Treat, but
Because I was
because
at
we,
your house a week before.
yeah, so you had come over and we've played some games. I love when we do that because we
Yeah,
get so much played.
yeah, we do.
And it's almost like we're on a mission. All right. Like there's no in between. It's like back to back to back to
Yeah,
back. Like we're board gaming machines.
yeah.
And this is one that you wanted to play. And then I had played it once before, like by myself to learn it. And I was like, oh right, let's play that one. And that is Hawaii.
Yeah,
And it's funny
Hawaii.
because you had said it's like, oh, I want to play that. It had bad reviews. And I
Yeah.
guess it had gotten like a really bad review where somebody had thrown it in the garbage. And I'm
Yeah.
like, are you kidding? Because this game is not trash worthy. Like they must have played it wrong or something. Because
Yeah.
this is a great, great game. When I
It
played
is
it by
neat.
myself, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be good. And then we kind of relearned it and played it together. And I think you're on the same page as I am. You've enjoyed this game quite
Oh
a bit.
yeah, I really liked it. It's very unique. Like, I can't think of
Yeah.
a game that's like it.
Because
You
I
know,
mean,
like
it's been around for a while, but yeah, it has like it has a lot of stuff that you haven't seen in another game for sure. And so the board is like this high island of Hawaii, and you have all these tiles that get put into it to fill it in. So every time you play, it'll have like a different setup. And that will make a difference because we start at the bottom of the board. It's like our chieftain is at the bottom of the board, and we can
it's a
travel to the
mountain.
different
You're
board.
climbing up a
You're
mountain,
climbing
I
up
think,
on the
yeah.
mountain. So in order to be able to go to the different, you need to spend feet, which is one of your resources, and that's your travel resource, I guess. And you're going to need to spend your feet, and they're like wooden feet token, like with toes or whatever. And that's where you can go. And each time we play, the different action is assigned a different value. And that's like the cost of what it's going to be to activate that particular tile. And they'll do different things. Some will give you things that you can add to your villages, because we're building these villages and we're trying to make them score as high as we can. And that's what you see on the bottom of the board there. Like we have that kind of bracket, and we slide these village component into it. So you can grab those from the island. You can collect fruit, which is what is one of the currencies in this game. And those are like little, I don't know if they're like supposed to be a mango or something, but like you get these green little mango possible token things. And then you have, what's this? What's the other thing? Oh, seashells. And I think seashells are kind of wild. You can use them as feet or as fruit, but you can't mix them with it. Like you can use that instead. And you're collecting these and going to the different things, and you take the tokens that's there, but you have to spend. Now you can spend one, like that amount, or you can double the price, spend twice the amount, so that you can either place the tile on its like second side so it produces more in your village, or you can like get twice the amount of what you would collect of where you're at. And there's also like the fishing thing on the bottom that you can go, but you need to have a boat that would have the capacity of being able to go there. So one of the tile in the island is getting more of these like little canoe type boats. And like there's just, but you collect these tokens that has the value of what you paid on them. And each round there's like a tile that shows, and it has like a value to it, and you need to have had collected at least that value or more, or you don't get the bonus points at the end of the round. And at the end of each round, there's a bonus point. And if you've like have the most number, you get to score the higher value of the bonus point. And you got the higher value of the bonus point every single round.
Yeah, I don't know how I managed that. I just managed to get, because you could get, when you fished, you could luck out and get some of those high
you could get
values.
extra ones when you're fishing as well.
So that kind of pushed me over a lot, I think.
And I had gotten a couple of tiles that I added to my village where it made it that I could ignore 4 of those values without taking any kind of penalties. So I was really not motivated to go as high as I could, because that means you're spending way more. Mm-hmm. And you have like the little hut where you keep your resources secret, so the other players don't see how many feet you have left or how many fruit you have or that sort of stuff. And if you don't spend it, you can keep it for the next round. And at the end, we scored the village, and because you also have like these little, I don't know, like tiki symbol that you add to the top, because you won't score a village if your village is not as long as the tiki symbol have been built. So that needs to connect in order to be able to score these village. And then everything you have in your village is going to do different things. Like each round is going to help you produce more. So I had stuff that produced seashells and fruit, plus there's like an income for everybody at the end. So it's like, okay, so it says we get 5 fruit, but I have 2 more here, so I'll take 7 fruit. And and so on. So there was that would happen at the beginning of each round. And depending on what you put in your village, you could collect more. You could have put like these, like I think like hula dancers at the beginning of the village that would kind of score extra point for going there. And I had done all of those, and I don't think you had gotten into that. I think we ended up fairly close in the final scoring.
Yeah, like I was quite ahead of you during the game. I got a lot of in-game points, but you
Yeah.
got way more end-game points and you just passed me in the end.
Yeah, because I had all the like those hula,
Yeah,
whatever,
I
you
think they
hadn't done that. And I
doubled the
was
row now that I'm thinking about it. Did they
I don't know
double
if
the
it
row?
doubled the row or they added like 10 or 12 points
Oh,
per
maybe.
row or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I think
No,
I
it
only
was
had
like
one
there were
hula
you
girl.
should have got some hula girls.
Yeah.
But
It felt like
but the whole
prostitution.
That's funny. Because then at the end of each round, like you could pass and be like, okay, I end the game. And then you could go and select where you would go in like position. Now, because it was just the two of us, it was like first or second. But second got bonus points and bonus stuff. But first got to start first, right?
Yeah.
And it's good to start first because you can go to the location that has like the cheaper things available. So you'd be like, oh, I really want to do this. But also, like, because we pull out of the bag what the value of different things are going to be. And if it's like the total is too low, like it would send it into fishing instead. And there would be some tiles that didn't produce that round. Yeah. And it could be like, okay, I really want a boat. And it's like, oh man, there's no boat. Now, some tiles had like 2 or 3 locations and some had just the one. It was mostly the location that had just the one action tile that could get blocked off. So that I thought it was so cool. And it just changed from like it would change from game to game, and it was just such a satisfying game. And I really, really liked it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and even like the production of the wooden bits for back then, everything else is cardboard, but it like totally is all like it's exactly what you need in the game, but this did not deserve a bad review at all. And it was funny because the person who did it, another person from that same production company or whatever, came back and did another review saying, no, this is good. This is a good game.
Yes.
So
yes, yeah, no, it was a really good game. I'm glad it's in my collection. You have this one now too, don't you?
I do. Yeah, and this designer has done nothing else since. So I hope that didn't deter him from making another game because this was so awesome and so unique.
So good. Yeah. But that's my recent play, Hawaii.
Awesome.
Okay, now we're gonna get talking about the games we played at Car Treat. So we played quite a few games. And we've picked our favorite 9 out of all the games we've played. Yeah.
And we did play some together, so it'll be interesting. You know if we have any the same, but I don't know. I'm suspecting maybe a couple will be the same.
Actually, well, some like we've played at the same time, but not together. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Oh no, there's one possible. There's going to be a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crossover. Possible 5, but maybe not. We'll see how we rank them. But the first one of mine, I'm suspecting is going to be in your top 9. I'm not sure where, but I'm assuming I'm starting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my first one is called Nokosu Dice. Now this one I had talked about quite a while ago when it kind of came out, but it was not available to us. And so people were making this game out of cards and dice, which you can from the game dealt, and just colored dice. So this is a trick-taking game, and it's using cards and dice. So it's quite neat because it still needs to be imported. It's a $50 game right now in Canada, which I don't feel like it's should be 50. I would say around more the 30 mark because there is dice in it.
I mean, it's good.
It is good though.
But,
So anyway, a friend of ours who was teaching a trick-taking trio, which you were a part of, this was one of the games.
Yes.
But Friday night, I was like, would you want to play this or you do not want to play this twice in the weekend? He's like, oh no, I love this game. So he taught us this Friday night. And we played, was it a 5-player? Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, a 5-player game of this, which I think that might be the max count. Not 100% sure. But you get dealt these cards, and then you're going to draft these dice in the middle. They'll be rolled. And drafting these dice are going to be used. It would be like you're drafting cards in your hand, basically. And then the last 2 dice that are left, the dealer gets to choose which one is going to be trump. So when they choose it, there's this little stand where you stick the dice in, and everyone knows that's like the number and the color are trump. And the number will always trump the color unless it's the number and color of trump.
Yeah, and
so
like
there's a few
trump.
Yeah, there's a few rules you kind of have to remember, and to me they're kind of backwards in my brain because normally trump beats everything like the color. So if say trump was a 6 yellow and I had a 2 yellow, normally in my brain it's like that's a really powerful card. I can play that and beat most things. But if somebody else just played a 6 blue, they would beat my 2 yellow. So you still have to, you play cards, you still have to follow suit. But yeah, when trump is played, then you have to follow trump.
That was unusual.
Yeah, that is unusual. And it's the number or color again. So if somebody just plays a 6, then you have to follow with a 6 if you have it. If not, then you can slough just like in normal games. So there was a few things that I had to okay, wait a sec. So that is that. There's a few times they're like, oh no, you have to play that dice because it's a this. And I'm like, oh yeah, shoot. But it was really interesting and a very cool game. And I was losing so bad. Everybody was in, because how it works is at the end you save 1 dice before the end of the round for your bid. So it's the last dice that is standing on your board. It might not be the last card played or whatever, but that will be your bid. Now, if say I bid 3 and I ended up with 3 tricks, then I would have met my bid and I will get 10 points for everybody else who didn't make their bid. Yeah. So if nobody did, I'd get an extra 40 points plus my 3 points for the trick. Now, if everybody made their bid, nobody gets the bonus. That never happened in our game. I don't know if it happened in your game, but
it was one where oh great, I get 10 points.
Oh. So I did terrible at the beginning. I think coming into the last round, I had 11 points, and most people were at 30 or 40-ish, 50 points. But in the last round, I came back and came in second. It was
wow.
And it was funny because they were all saying, if you met your bid and nobody else got their tricks, you could win the game. And I'm like, okay, well, that's going to be unlikely. But it was really close. I got almost to that. So it's like one of those games where, literally the end of the game can change on a dime. It just depends what happens. But I really enjoyed it. It was a neat game. And I will definitely purchase this when it's a reasonable price.
Oh, 100%.
But I had said I'm going to make this game and I'm not trying to take away from the designer, but when it's available, I will get it. And we never did play it. I think I brought it to your house a couple times and it never worked out. But
yeah.
But once it comes out, not in an import price, then I will definitely pick it up because it's a very cool trick-taking game.
That is cool.
It's my number 9, Nokosu Dice.
Nice. I approve. And I don't have the list in front of me, and I forget what order I've put things in. So my number 9 is going to be a surprise to all of us, as usual. I'm great at being disorganized. So my number 9 is 7 Prophecies. So this is another game that I played in that trick-taking extravaganza. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the ones. Now, on BGG, it has a different image of the game. It does, this is an, I don't know, earlier version or what it was, but we played this one and I was like, okay. And he was explaining it and I'm like, okay. And the way that it works is you get your hand of card. We're playing tricks. And there's a grid where it says first, second, third, and fourth, and then you have like all of these color cards at the top. Now these color cards are just markers of the tricks that's coming up, and that card is going to indicate what lead is going to be. And we're going to need to follow lead based on where we're at for that round. And you're going to look at your cards, and you have this thing in front of you, and you're going to try to figure out how many tricks do you think you're going to be in first position, or second position, or third position, or fourth position, because this is up to 4 players. So you got these cubes, and you're going to sort your cubes between the different position that you can end up with. Now, as you play, like, because I was like, at first I had like, okay, well, I have, and it goes from like 1 to 11. So you're going to look at things like, okay, well, I'm going to sort it this way. Then everybody moves their cubes on the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, and the number 4. And we place them there. And then we start playing the trick. So we start with the first one. It's the red card. I played, I don't know, I think I had a 10. And I was like, oh, 10, like that's second to high. Some cards are pulled out and you don't know what those are. So I was like, well, hopefully I would win that one. So I'm going to say maybe first position there. So, but like, that's kind of how I had figured. So I ended up being in second because somebody played an 11. So I was like, oh, okay. So I'm in second position. So I had a cube on the number 2. So I moved one of my cube to cover the card that I played in second position to show that my cube, but I hadn't put any other cards in number 2. So now if I came in second position again, I don't have a cube to place on that card. And it's not like the goal is not necessarily to win the trick, but the goal is to get the most of your cubes out and be the first one to get all of your cubes out on these different tricks. I think Cherry won both times because we played it twice. She like did really good. But then, so the next round's like, okay, so Steven, I think, was in first position. So he starts the round. And the next card we're playing is yellow. And that's fine because we're all playing yellow now. Now, if you look at the fourth one, it was yellow. And I had like a low number. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll be able to get last position for that. But in the meantime, some people are running out of those colored cards. So they get last position. And even if I have like a number 1, but the cards are gone, then I'm not ending in last. It was a really interesting game. I really like this one. This is another one that if I come across, I want a copy. Because it's very simple as far as trick taking is going. You're just trying to, but it was so satisfying to play. And in fact, we played it twice. So that one, what is it called? 7 Prophecies, was so interesting and a really interesting spin on a trick-taking game. And I really enjoyed it. And that's my number 9.
Yeah, I've never heard of this one. So when he pulled it out, I was like, ooh,
yeah,
curious about that. But that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
All right. Well, my number 8 is another one that I didn't play, on one of my scheduled games. This was, I can't remember, either one morning or one evening after the scheduled games. And this is Koi. Now, Koi is like a sequel to Bonsai. Yeah, that's right. I know it's right behind me, so I was just going to turn around and look. But this one, instead of building a bonsai tree, you were building up your koi pond. Now, it has some similarities, but there is like quite a bit of differences in this. You draft cards the same way that you do in bonsai, with they're on a central board, and you'll take a card and whatever's underneath it you'll also get, and the cards to the left kind of have, I think, juicier bonuses on them, but here it's just different bonuses basically. So in this one, instead of like in bonsai, I think you meditate or work. Here you also meditate or work, but it kind of is in reverse. So when you meditate, it's when you take the cards and you will just kind of place them into your hand, and then whatever little bonus you get underneath you'll get to do. But when you work, that's when you're going to do kind of your actions, like working on your pond. So, and this one has like a storage spot for tiles. So you have your little board that has, it starts with, I think it's 6 storage tiles, and they're little hexagons. So everything that you gather will have to be on there until you place them in your pond. So until you work. Now you can purchase more storage to put on there, but it has to come from one of the cards you've drafted. So, and they're very limited that way. So if you don't get one, then you really have to work with the 6 hex storage. Now, the things you're going to want to acquire are more water tiles. You're going to get these beautiful koi tiles, which are like that acrylic with the
Nice.
koi fish on them, and they're just gorgeous. And there's like singles, doubles, or triples. And one of the goals is like a quadruple little koi, or bigger koi, I should say. Now, there's 3 goals in the game, and they're always going to be different. So there's all different kinds of like fountains and like large koi, or just all kinds of different things that could be added to your pond. Now, the way that you would get those is if you've met the requirements, you automatically get to take them. But again, you're going to need space in your storage if it needs to be there, or some of them will get to go directly to your pond. So another neat thing is when you work and you start working on your pond is if you have acquired these helper cards, they are kind of like a little engine that you build, because when you work, there's usually, I think it's 4 actions that you can do, and you'll choose one of them. But if you have these helper cards, then you get to activate each of those every time you work too. And those will have the same actions as you would for your one choice when you work. So if you had built up 4 helper cards, instead of doing 1 action while working, you get to do 5 actions while working. And so it really helps you be able to do, take advantage of that work action when you're doing it, to do a bunch of things. Because as the same in Bonsai, the timer is when the last card is flipped into the central board, then that ends the game. And it can come really quick. So you really
Yeah.
have to plan your actions out and be able to like build up your pond. Now, there's some really neat things in the pond, because you're going to build up some of these walls that the central part of the wall, it'll like whatever tiles it faces in a line is going to count points. You're going to have these little flowers that can go around kois that will add points to your kois. Or if you keep every spot empty, like empty water around your koi, it'll actually double the points of your koi. So it's just
Oh.
another one of those, like at the end, you're going to score points, and whoever has the highest point koi pond is going to win. And it's just a really lovely Zen game where you're kind of doing your own thing, but you're watching what people are doing too, because you don't want to let them get all the high koi
Well, no,
fish.
right.
But at the same time, you want to work towards those goals, because those are big points. It's just one of those, like, you have to figure out which way to victory. There's several ways you could go about it, and just how you want to do it, and then you just have this lovely little koi pond at the end. It's a tile laying puzzly game that is always right up my alley, and it's awesome. I love it. And yeah, that's my number 8, koi.
It's such a beautiful looking game for sure.
Yeah.
All right. My number 8 is Wine Cellar. This is one that I have played with you 2 players once before. Mm-hmm. And then we played it in Carl's, I don't know, I think it was like I thought it was
Grand
a race.
Prix, he calls it. So he does a little tournament.
The Grand Prix.
Yeah, with 6 players. He plays, I think, 4 to 5 different games, and then he kind of calculates you get points for what place you came
Position
in,
you ended up in, yeah.
And then at the end, the winner and second place, they get a prize. So, and they're usually lighter games. Like, this is one of the lighter games that he had in there.
Exactly. And this one is beautiful. So you start with a hand of card, and each card is a wine bottle. And on it, there's a value that's going to determine like your bidding. Now, I did pretty good, as in my lowest value was like a 24.
Oh, wow.
So I won a lot of bids. And then you would kind of place it face down. Everybody puts a card face down, and there's like cards in the middle there, and you would reveal your number, and then in bidding order, you get to draft from the middle depending on what you want. The idea is you're going to score each card, but like you can only add to the top or to the bottom as you place. And some cards score, it's kind of like how long has a wine aged. So in the first year, like some wine are really good and would score high, and then you can see like the numbers, the way it's distributed, and then be like, maybe it scores 8 points, which is the highest point in year one. But then in year two, it scores a little bit less, or like the numbers are kind of all different. So you're going to want to try to put that one so it's at the top so that you score the higher value on year one than year two. But you'll have some where it's like year one, this wine scores 0. It is not good. You want to age this one at least 8 years, and then it scores a lot. And while some it's like, well, it's not great at year one, it's not great at year two, you really want to age this one like 4 or 5 years. That's where it scores the highest, and you want to try to get those ones in the middle. But then again, you can't tuck in the middle. You just add to the end. And then we all have this like client card that have these special requirements. Mine loved rosé. So all of my wines were mostly rosé, and then red wines as well. And then they'll have like a country that of origin that they prefer. So if you have those flags, you get bonus points for that as well. Well, mine liked, I don't know what it like. It was Greece and American or something. And I didn't get like a single one of those. That just didn't happen. But I had El Rosé, which gave me bonus points, and red wines or whatever. But and then some had like, it's like, oh, well, they got so many points. And that's just luck of the draw, right? So it was really neat. But then all the cards that we've bid with becomes the next bottle of wine that we're going to bid on. So then be like, oh, okay. Then you decide, it's like, well, I play my high card. Is there a card that I really want in there or not? It's a super simple game, yet so satisfying. And I absolutely love playing it every time I play it. And just the shape of the cards and how everything works and its simplicity and the theme. Like it's just, I like everything about it. So that was my number 8, Wine Cellar.
Yeah, this is a really good one because I think it plays up to 8 people. So it's one of those you can pull out if you have a big group and you've split up into groups at the end of the night. You can just kind of come together and have one little final game, which is nice.
Yeah.
All right, my number 7 is another one I played outside of the scheduled games. And this one, I think me and Bree played in the morning, maybe before everybody came.
Okay.
Saturday morning, and this was called Frosted Blooms. Now, this is another tile game that I just recently acquired, and it was one of those like, do I really need another tile game? Well, apparently I do, because this is really good. I'm such a sucker for tile games, especially polynomial tile games. But this one is a little bit different. Again, like I say that a lot, but people just keep coming up with different ideas. And this one, you are really building up your garden, and you're going to draft tiles by, there's a little flower on the top of the central board, and the tile next to it in clockwise order is free. Now, you could take that one, or if you go around like in clockwise, the next one would be $1. You'd have to leave $1 on the one before it, and then the next one would be $2. You'd have to leave one on each of the tiles before it. So you can take the tile and you're just going to put it into your garden. Now, how you want to place it is you would like to attach like flowers or water to like flowers or water.
Oh,
okay. Because everybody has a hand of cards that are the same cards that you'll get shuffled, and you'll draw 3 at the beginning of the game. So every time you place a tile, you're going to score one of those cards. Now, the cards are going to have things like tulips. For every tulip, you'll get a point. For every piece of water, you'll get a point. Or you might have one card that just has one type of scoring. 2 points for every water. So what happens is you're going to get points for the tile you placed and what it connected to on your card. So
Right.
I might have tulips over on some other tiles, but if I haven't connected them with the tile I just placed, then I'm not going to get to score those ones. So it's just the connected one that you placed the tile. Now,
Right.
that's not it. That's half of the game. The other thing is you are trying to create these openings. Now, I didn't show it here in this picture. This was the very beginning of the game, or quite early in the game, is that when you surround, like you make a actual, like, you've closed in tiles, but there's an opening, you're going to place either a barn, a person, or a windmill.
Oh, so
So,
like at the top of the picture here,
yeah, you see
like
in the
they've got
bowls.
one and they're about to create a second
Oh, I
one
think
there.
if you can see far on the other side,
Yeah.
Bree has a barn in hers. So
Yeah.
if you have a 1 block space, you place a person. If you have a 2 block space, you'll place a barn. And then if you have a 2 by 2 open space, you'll place a windmill. Now, these are going to be worth big points at the end. The
Right.
windmills are worth 25 points. The barns are worth 10. The people are worth, can't remember now, 3 points maybe. But
Yeah.
now, if you had like a 3 square space, you could put 3 people or a barn and a person. Now, the reason you might decide different things is you also have on this main board, you can see some tiles, and those are scoring tiles. So the first person to get to, say, like 3 barns will get to grab that tile and score it right away, and it'll be worth 10
Oh,
points.
yeah.
There's some big ones, like if you had 3 windmills, you're going to get, or even if it's like 10 connected water, you're going to get 25 points. Now, some of them will have, one in the second column and the third. So you might have 8 connected water and then 10 connected water. And so if you have 8 connected water and you want to wait to try to get the 10, you pass up that one because you can only ever have one per column.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and those just get drafted randomly at the beginning of the game. So there will only
Okay.
be a few columns that have 2 tiles in them. But it was interesting because when we played, there was a couple times where you're thinking, oh, I'm never going to get to that 10, so I'll just take that middle tile, that scoring tile. And then 2 rounds later, you're like, what did I do? I just gave up like 15 points. But it's really interesting because you're not just thinking about connecting the tiles. You got to think
Right.
about the spaces you're trying to make. So sometimes you'll give up those points that you're going to score on your cards that you're like, oh, I could get so many points here, but if I put the tile this way, I make a 4x4 opening and I can place a 25-point windmill.
Yeah.
So it's really neat and such a clever little game. If you want to see a better picture of maybe a finished game with like the windmills and barns, I'm sure there's better ones on Board Game Geek, but I'll probably have to replace this picture with one that has more significance to see what it'll actually look like near the end of
That's
the game.
cool
But
though.
it is
That's
really neat
cool.
and a super fast game. Like you have, I think it's 10 to 12 cards and that's it. They'll like every
Oh,
round
okay.
you
Yeah.
play a
Yeah.
card and then that's how it ends. So it's not like anything triggers it other than you play out all your cards. You know how many turns you have left if you're
Yeah.
needing to, build some more, like close in some more holes or whatever. But it's a really
Cool.
cool little game. And that's my number 7, Frosted Blooms.
Very cool. That looks neat.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right. My number 7 is Nokosu Dice. So yes, it is on my list as well. I thought this one was so interesting. And then it was neat because you have those dice that you can play as cards. But one of them is also a bid. And because you must follow suit, if somebody like played a green and you had a green card, but it was like a 3, now you want that as your bid, but you don't have any green cards in your hand, be like, oh no, I must follow suit. And that leaves me with the 6 dice, and I'm not going to win 6 straight. So then like he was like, okay, I'm going to try to play like these dice to try to make sure you end up with the dice you really want for your bidding. Like that would happen. But it was a really neat game. I very much enjoyed it. I didn't realize it was going to be so hard to get, but I'm going to want this one as well. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because you just did. but it was such an interesting combination. Because there's another game that we had played where there was dice in the trick taking. It was like what is it? All play game. I played it at your house.
With dice?
Yeah. The rose one.
Oh, yes. What is that called?
Probably rose.
Nari or something?
Oh, maybe.
I'll look it up here.
But that one, like, I was like, so when he pulled that out, and I was like, oh, okay, like that one. I found Nokosu Dice was easier to grasp and play than that other one. Amori, I think it was.
That sounds right.
But it was
Mori.
like, it was in...
yeah, we were both wrong.
Oh, Mori.
Mori. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was another one that was kind of a trick taking that included dice. So it's neat. And I did enjoy Mori. I think maybe I enjoyed Nokosu Dice more, but I would have to play Mori again.
Yeah. No, I did like Mori, but this is better, I think.
I think this is just easier to grasp and play.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very enjoyable. But yes, so that is my number 7 Nokosu Dice.
Awesome. Our first crossover. And I just realized I don't think we will have 5 crossovers because one of the ones I thought you played, I don't think you played, but I'm pretty sure you didn't play that one. Anyway, so it could possible 4. All right, my next one is the first game I played at Card Treat. This was one that we played Friday before everybody got there, kind of thing, right at 2-ish. Okay. Our friend Shane agreed to teach this to us, and this is called Karvi. Now, this is a Viking-themed game that I had never played before, but had intrigued me, especially the cover.
Yeah, it looks good.
Cover. It's just such a...
It's beautiful.
Cool art. Now, this one is another very unique game because you are using dice kind of as your workers, but in a different way because you only have 1 dice. So you use this...
a picture.
Oh, you don't? Oh, shoot.
I couldn't find a picture and I forgot to... Did you
send you one right now?
Yeah, go send me a picture and then I'll go and add it. I'm like,
funny.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, because remember I said it's kind of faded? Like it's not the best picture. Here,
I think I was like, do you have a picture for this one? And I forgot to go back and add it. Oh my God. I wonder how many times I've done that too.
There it is. So this one is neat because you are going around a rondel for your actions, and everybody has a dice that they've placed in the beginning spot, basically, and you're kind of lined up. And the back person is always going to get to go. So several games do that, where the last person is first, and they do an action, and then the next last person goes, and so on. And so the neat thing is you start out with, I can't remember how many you start with, maybe 4 pips on your dice. And so then you're going to move to a spot, and that spot might have taken up 2 pips. So you're going to move your pips down to 2. So you've used 2 power of your pips already. So then whatever you do at that action, that's what's left, and so on. And you'll go down till you have 0. And then once you have 0, the only place you can go to is like a reset section where you can either reset your pips or your supplies. So now what you're trying to do is there's a big game board that you are moving around in your Viking ships and collecting these little tiles to place on your board to be able to, you have to complete them before they go on your board. So you have to meet the requirements kind of thing, and then you'll get bonuses. You're trying to gather supplies, and that's how you're feeding your people. And it's neat because your little Viking boats are cardboard, but they have like a little... I'm going to say stick in the middle, but it's actually cardboard. And then you place these hollow
it's a stick.
Supplies on them, and that's how you can tell how many you have. So you can only hold so many. But as you move around the board, you have to play them. The word isn't supplies. I don't know why I can't think of the word right now. It's like provisions, I think it is. So as I move around, I have to spend these provisions. And so sometimes you're left with none, and then you can't move. You're stuck there on your turn, which is fine. You don't always have to move. But you have different places on your board to place these tiles that you're collecting. You have a left side and a right side. So you have yellow tiles and red tiles that you're going to place on your board. And once you've placed a couple, you're going to kind of get a few bonuses there. Now, you're also upgrading your ship up top. So you're upgrading your sail and like kind of the speed of your boat and different things like that. Then you have these end game runes that you get to place one at the beginning of the game, and it's going to give you, points for doing something in the game, something unique from other people. And then you have a possibility of placing two other runes. You can gather these other type of runes and you can place them on top of ones that are already there, but then the ones underneath are negated and you won't score those. So there's a lot going on, like you're making your own score. But the tricky thing is going around that rondelle, because when you move from the end to a spot, you're like, okay, I want that spot, but I want the one ahead of it. Are they going to move to it before I can get to it? Or do I jump to it now and give up all those spots from behind? Because then if somebody has this big gap, they can just go, oh, I'll do this and this and this.
Right,
and
right.
This, and now I'm behind and then I go again. So it's, I screwed myself a few times, which, typically do in a game. But this one is extra thinky that way, because it's like, okay, if I go here, that blocks all these spots. So I'll never get to go there, because by the time I go, I'm not going to get to be able to do that. Another thing is you are trying to build up your strength in your ship. So you have, I think, 5 spots to place values of strength. And they start with like a 1, and then you can, turn a 1 to a 2 and so on. And a lot of those strengths are going to help when you go to these different places on the board to try to collect these tiles. Because I might need a 25 strength and I only have 10 right now. So I really have to build up my strength. Now, if I ever go to a place where somebody else is, I have to have at least the same amount of strength of them or more, or I have to pay them a provision, which they're very, very tight. So paying provisions is like very, very painful to do, but it happens, and you do need to go to spots. But it's neat because if you do kind of win that, I guess it's typically like a battle, you move them, you get to move them to a spot next to it. And so you kind of look on their board and you're like, oh, they really want to go this way. I'm going to move them back that way. But it was a very unique game. And this one's not talked about much. It's another one that I would definitely pick up. I know Shane, I think me and you and Shane were playing on BGA. I think it was you. And he was talking about picking this up for half price. And I was like, oh, I'm tempted. And then I'm like, oh, no, I think I want to play it. Because he had another copy. No,
he did it!
His game store.
Do you regret it now?
And I didn't get it. I do. But one day I'll find it and it'll come to me, because it was...
I've seen it on Amazon.
Oh, did you? Was it?
Yeah.
Do you know how much it was? Because he got it. It's like almost $100 game, I think, or 80 or 90.
And I think then it would have been a good price on Amazon. Let me go see.
Yeah, I'll have to look. But anyway, it's
Karvi?
A game. I mean, maybe it's not one for everyone to buy, but it's one that you should try. It's really, really neat. And just how they use the dice in that, and how you need to refresh your dice pips and your provisions as often as possible is such a clever thing. There was another whole mechanic where you can get these cards, and there's 2 different decks of cards that can do different things as well. Like there's just so many things you can do to build up your kind of little engine that you're like, which way do I do this? And I didn't end up last. I don't remember who was with me. We were very tight at the end, but the 2 that kind of took off, they developed a little better engine than we did. And it was clever to watch them, because some of their turns were so long because they had so many things to do, and I was like, oh, I want a long turn like that. But so next time I
found it on Amazon. It's $72.
Oh, okay, so that's similar to the regular price, but I think I'll still wait to see if I can find it used, because nobody talks about it. Maybe most people don't like it and they'll get rid of it.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or they're not talking about it because it's a secret and they want to keep it a secret. But anyway, that's number 6, Karvi.
There you go. You're number 6. Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised.
You would like it. I know you would. You like Viking games, and you would like this.
Yes. Yes. I had a friend who asked me for like a list of games for like my birthday, and I did put that one on there. So who knows? Maybe.
Oh, did you? Oh,
but I said, like, I think I was like, oh my God. Well, the first time I sent her like 3 games on my list, and then I ended up finding some and bought them. And I forgot I had put on the list that she was with me when I did. She's like, it was on your list. I was like, oh. So I'd send her a new list, and she made me promise not to buy anything from the list. I'm like, okay, look away. Oh, it happens. All right. My number 6 is Odin. Oh my God.
Nice.
Oh my God. I was so impressed with this one. Like and it was great because this was part of like Carla's Grand Prix. And then we sat down to play this, and I'm like, okay. I was like, oh, perfect. Because I just bought a copy of this. Yeah. And I hadn't played it. And it's one that I had like, I seen around. Seems to me people had liked it, but I didn't really know anything about it. So I was like, okay, well, I do want to try this one. So I ended up buying it, but I hadn't played it yet. So it was great. We were playing it. Now my copy is different because I think I have a Japanese version than the one that Carl had. And his cards were a little bit different, but I forgot to take a picture when we played it at Card Treat. So I took a picture with my copy. But here it is. So the artwork is really neat. First of all, you have all these images. This is another Viking one. And it's a card shedding game. So you start with 9 cards, and the goal is to try and get rid of all of your cards. Now, we've recently played this on BGA as well. On the because on our Discord group we have like a Monday BGA game night, and actually it was just me and you, and I was
just you.
Let us play this again. Yeah. So we had like full control of what we could play, and then we played this one, and it was still good on BGA. But you have all these cards, and at the start you play a single card to play, which sometimes can be annoying. It's like, oh, I don't want to break my sets that I have here, because you can either play cards of the same color together or card of the same numbers together. But so let's say I'm playing a single card and I play a 2. You then can play 2. You got to play to kind of beat what I'm playing. So you could play a 7. Not a 7 would beat mine. And maybe you play a 7. Now, if you play a 7, you must pick up a card that was previously played. So then you would take that 2 that I played. Now you have a 7, and I'm going to play one thing that I have, and maybe I have 2 cards, and I have like a 3 and a 2. So I'm going to play that. Now, what I'm playing is a 32. That's why it beats the 7, because it's not 5, it's 32. So I'm playing my 32. I must pick up your 7 that goes in my hand. And maybe that's really annoying because you had played a pink card and I have no pink cards. And it's just like, great, now I have this single card that's going to be like annoying trying to get rid of. And then, so I played a 32. Then the next person can play. They can play 2 cards that has a bigger number than 32. So maybe they're playing a 7 and a 4, and they're playing 74 of any other color. And then when they go and look at they pick the 3 or the 2, and they're going to decide which one they add. Now, maybe it's colors that they don't have in their hand, so they don't really care about adding that color to your hand, but maybe they have bunch of 2s in their hands. So I'll take the 2, because then they could play a 2-2-2 for 222. And like you're kind of, and you can pass. Like you could be like, okay, I really don't want to draw those cards because that's totally gonna wreck what I have in my hand. Or maybe I have 4 cards together here, and I don't want to play it as 3, because you can't go from 2 to 4. You got to go only 1 above. So like, okay, maybe I'm going to wait because I don't want to break my 4, and I don't want to pick up blue cards because I have no blue cards in my hand, and that's what's on the table. So I'll pass. And then you pass, and then it goes to the next player. Now, because you pass doesn't mean that when it comes back to your turn, you can't play. You can play again in a multiplayer game, because in a 2-player game, it's the other person's turn. Because if I started by placing card down and it comes back to mine and it's still my cards on the table, those get discarded and I get to start again. And then I forgot to mention, like if there was 2 cards and you draw one, the other one gets discarded as well. But you're doing this combination of playing, discarding card, picking up a card, and you're trying to be the first one to get rid of your hand. Now, when we played on BGA, we started with 15 points, and the game ended when because every time, like, if I trigger the end of the round because I got rid of all of my cards, everybody else is going to count the number of cards they have in their hand, and that gets deducted from their 15 points. So first person to go down to 0 triggers the end of the game, and it's whoever has the best score is the winner. I triggered the end of the game when I played it because I was like, oh, great, I've lost all these points. And it was, but I really, really like this game. I thought it was so good. And that is my number 6, Odin.
Yeah, this is a neat one. I had tried to play it on BGA, I think, once, and I didn't really get it. So I'm like, oh, yeah, you got to teach me this. It's neat
Yeah.
because you think, oh, I'm going to go out, I'm playing these cards. And then you're like, oh, I got to take one. So you really have to
You
think,
always
like,
forget that. It's like,
yeah.
oh, I don't want any of those.
Yeah. I love when card or games throw like a little wrench into like a typical type of
Yes.
game like that, where it makes you go, okay, I have to do this cleverly because I'm going to take that, but it can add to this to pair it up. So yeah, that's a
Yeah.
neat one. I'll definitely be picking this one up. And you got this one on Shein?
Shein, yeah.
Sheen
So
or
weird
whatever?
because I've bought clothes from there. Like, and I think Shein, I'm pronouncing it Shein, I don't know.
Yeah.
But when I see Shein, like, it's clothing. And my friend had come over to my house. She's like, oh, I got board games on there. And I'm like,
Uh-oh.
what? Now, I had done like a Temu board game
Yeah.
unboxing just to see if it's worth it or not. Now, with buying games on Shein, be aware you're going to get, and I had ordered like, I don't know, a bunch of them just to see, is it worth it? What are the quality like? And kind of do a comparison. And it comes in a bag. So you have all of these loose board games in a bag where they're moving and banging. So shipping, be prepared
Could
for
be
damage.
dicey. Yeah, you're rolling
Yeah,
the dice.
like this one was not too bad just because the quality of the box is really good. Some
It's
of
like
them,
the Oink ones. It looks exactly like the size of the Oink box. And the
yeah, it's like
quality
an
of it.
oink shape
Yeah.
for sure. I don't, it doesn't say oink on it, so I don't think they are oink ones. It
Yeah.
doesn't, but like it's a Japanese version. So it
I
worked
think
out with the ones I
yours
had.
was a better quality than Carl's though. Like his box was like a cheaper box.
Yeah, it
Was
wasn't
yours
as solid
just-
as this one
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So, like, I lucked out with this one. I think a lot of them on Shein probably wouldn't be end up as good, but these shape one, and I got a few of them. Like the box quality was sturdy, which is good because, like I said, it ships in the most horrible way. So, they fared not too bad,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah,
may not
no,
all be
that's
like
awesome.
that. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that
Good
was my
game.
number 6.
Yeah, nice one. All right, my number 5 is Ierusalem Domino Anno, or is Anno Domine? Nope, that's not the cover. I did send
That's
you a
not the
picture.
cover.
No,
Is this the picture?
that's the picture. Yeah, so it's not Jerusalem.
Yeah,
it's
that's the picture.
Ierusalem. That's the picture, but that cover was in the cover. That's okay. So this is the picture. So,
Oh boy.
and it's actually Ierusalem. So it's with an I. So it's like I'm not sure which language, but it
did
doesn't
it
have
auto
the J.
correct? Maybe, I wonder.
It maybe, or maybe you thought my I was a J, but it doesn't matter. This is the picture that I have.
Oh,
set
I
up
totally
that
saw
we
that as
played.
a J.
Yeah, because it would make sense. You wouldn't think that Jerusalem
Yeah.
was spelt with an I. But anyway, so this one is another very unique game. I've had quite a few of these lately. There's more to come too. Now, this is a neat one because it's a historical game. It's not a preachy game because it's about the Last Supper. Now, what's happening is you are trying to jostle for position around Jesus at the Last Supper.
Okay.
But there's many different mechanics in this game because there's you're managing resources, there's worker placement, there's a little bit of deck building, and there's all kinds of things going on, and it's quite neat. So you have this player board that has slots at the bottom for the parables, that it's kind of a set collection thing. You have a spot on the top right where you're going to have your followers and storage space for your resources. Then you're going to have 3 columns that you can play your cards. And every turn, you're going to play a card into one of the columns. Now, this is coming from your deck. And so you will shuffle your deck and you draw 5 cards to start with. And so you're going to play one. Now, you'll play a card in there and you'll get to do the top action on the left. And those actions are going to refer to the main board. So you're either going to go to the market and either exchange fish, bread, or stone for money, or you're going to buy those things with money. Or you could buy one of these, I forget the name of the cards, but these other cards that will go into your hand that are better cards than your starting cards. Mahane cards, I think they're called. But anyway, now the other thing is you can either go to the desert, the mountain, or the lake and collect more fish, stone, or bread, depending how many followers you have at those locations. Now, the bottom action is you can place more of your followers out to the mountain, lake, or desert, and that'll help you get more things when you do those actions. So those are the main actions. Then you're going to complete the action on the bottom of your card. And that might be you're going to be able to place a follower at the Last Supper. You're going to move up the Sanhedrin track. You're going to go get a parable. Or you might do a favor for someone. And so what those are is everybody starts with all these little tiles, and I can give a favor to anybody at the table and it gives them resources or money or some more Mayhane cards. And then they're going to flip that over and it's going to have a little symbol on it. Now, these symbols are important because once you have a column of cards that have the exact 3 symbols as what the apostles prefer, you're going to be able to place an apostle at the table. And those ones are going to go directly around Jesus. Now, you're going to want to strategically place them where you're going to either end up behind them or you're already behind them, because at end game, you're going to get points for being as close as possible to Jesus or the apostles. The closer, the higher points. As you go down, you'll just get lower points. Now, also each apostle has an action that you'll get to do when you've played them. So one of them might be you get to move people around. So you might have been in the back row and you get to like switch with somebody who's in the front row. So there's a little bit of, take that in this game with one of the actions of the apostles. You might get to just put out a follower for free at the table. The other one, I forget what the third one does, but then there's Judas. And if anyone knows what Judas did, well, he's going to be worth negative points at the end, but he's going to give you 5 pieces of silver. And so he's the one who betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. But so it's very thematic that way. Now, the other thing is the game timer is basically the Sanhedrin track. So as that moves up, if it gets to the end, that is when Jesus was crucified, and that'll be the end of the game, and you will score the Last Supper. Now, there's some other little things. Every time you go to the table, you can decide if you want to take a blessing, and it kind of takes up a spot in your storage. Because if you haven't moved followers out and you only have so many spots for resources, at the end of your turn, if you don't have room, you don't get them. So you're trying to make room in there and open up spots so that you can store more. Because when you do place followers, what happens is you pay fish, stone, and bread depending where they are in the grid. The higher up they are, it's going to be more expensive, and the lower down, it'll be a little bit cheaper. So there's just a lot of managing going on, and the 4 of us that played at Card Treat, we just had a blast. It was, we do some favors to other people, but then it's like, well, I'm not doing you a favor because you're way ahead of everybody. We can't give you any more favors. And the favors on the other side can be one of those symbols you need to place an apostle. And typically you need to have them in the exact column in the exact order. But if you have one of those tiles, you can stick it in there where you want. So there's a lot going on, but this is probably the best themed, I'm not going to say church themed, but historical theme based around Jesus and the apostles that I have seen. I've looked into a lot of other ones. There's another one that I possibly might be getting as well, but this is the best one so far. And it's not preachy. So if you're trying to just take it to people who don't want anything to do with the church or whatnot. This is still going to be, it's all historically
Now,
correct.
for religious people, do you think this would be?
They will love it too. Yes,
will they?
I do. So, yeah, they will, because
like to me, like I'm like
thematic.
Just from the theme you're saying, we're fighting to be closest to
You're not really
Jesus, and
there's only 4 actions that will swap you. I mean, that part isn't that well. It kind of is, because if you know the Bible at all, like there's even some apostles that wanted to be on his right hand and his left hand, and he's like, "Do you know what you're asking?" Like, meaning like that means you're gonna have to suffer like I did, kind of thing. But so there's lots of thematic stuff, and it was like because the 4 of us at the table knew the Bible very well, so we could like go through the parables, and we're like, oh, it's this one, and talking about which apostles are going next to who, and it was nice that we all got to play it, and we were all in that kind of zone. So, but otherwise, like, it's not going to, I don't think it would shy people away, other than maybe they just wouldn't be interested in the theme. But I know
but the gameplay covered it anyways.
Yeah, and it was interesting because
and that sounds like interesting if it's like a obviously church theme in a sense without it being too preachy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it's definitely not, talking about any kind of shame or anything like that. So it was good, because I actually had a waiting list for this, which kind of shocked me, because I thought, I don't know, I'll try this out. I don't know, this could go either way. But I had a waiting list, and one of the guys had said, I really want to learn this game, and I'm going to teach him at Melcon, actually, because his parents are missionaries. And he said, I can maybe get them to play this with me. And I'm like, oh, they will love it, I think, because it's just, it's going to appeal to them, and it's going to make sense to them. And like the things they're doing are going to make sense, about different things.
That's good. Because I think it's a theme like that,
it's going to be niche, probably.
Yeah.
Well, but if people knew what it was about, gamers will just be like, oh, I want to try those mechanics.
Yeah.
I don't think it would scare them away from the theme. But no,
I just think like this is a theme you can't disrespect in a game. You know what I mean?
No.
So as long as it doesn't do that, then
exactly,
it would be okay. Yeah. Okay. Like to me, I was like, whoa, really? They went there?
Yeah, no, it's really good, and I hope it gets more attention, because it's very, very cool. And
nice.
So that's my number 5, Ierusalem Anne Domini.
So let me show this. So not this game, but it's instead this game.
Yes, there it is.
It kind of looks like a J, doesn't it, though?
It does, but it's an I. I know, I had to like look at it how many times when I looked on Board Game Geek. I'm like, is that an I? That can't be an I, but it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the Latin pronunciation or what it is, but it was neat because the game came with stickers. I was literally supposed to sticker everything, like the followers, the resources. I only stickered the apostles because it named them, but it came in like 6 different languages I could have put the apostles on.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's what this particular language, Ierusalem, is, but I should know that, but I don't. I will find out, but yeah. But it's really neat. And it's a Devere game, so they usually put out.
Devere's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, my number 5 is, let us go see, Heat Pedal to the Metal. So this was part of the Grand Prix that Carl had put together. Okay. And I had a bit of a panic moment with this game. Because you're like, could you bring your copy to play it? I'm like, no problem. I'll bring my copy. And then Carl opened the game and got it set up while we were like playing the other one. And he's like, there's no rule book in here. I'm like, where'd my rule book go?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? And because he was going to refresh on the rules. But Chris has been playing this at their luncheon and they've been playing it a lot. So he's like, I know all the rules inside and out, so don't worry about refreshing. It's fine. And I'm like, no, it's not fine. I need my rule book.
I want my rule book.
But my copy's been lent out and used at different conventions. So I was like, where did it go missing? And then they set up the game, and I'll show you kind of what it looks like. But we got the game set up. That player board, all of them were missing. They weren't there. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, kind of like, I don't want to have like a useless copy of Heat that can't be played. Like it's, and I'm like rethinking all of my like how I lend games to different conventions. Like, is this coming to an end? And then I lifted the insert and it was all under the insert for some reason. Who put that there?
They wanted to keep everything flat for you. I think that was their thinking. So that
yes, it was wonderful. Thanks so much for doing. But we got it. Everything was fine. We got playing it. And this is one that every time I played, I was like, gosh darn, this is a good game. And I could forget every time how good and how much I enjoyed this game. But this is a car racing game. And everybody has their own car. And it's a deck building game. And you have your shift there. Like, and then where you place your shift is how many cars you're going to play in that race. And, you know, like, but there's corners, and the corners have a number assigned to it, and it's normally a small number, 2 or 3, maybe, or 4. But if you're going into the number 2 corner, so that's how steep that corner is going to be, you can't pass that corner with more race points than that is. So if you're playing 4 cards, you're going to be over the 2, right? Because you got to play 4 racing cards to go in the corner. So I'm like, oh, great. Well, I have a 5, a 2, a 1, and a plus. So I was like, that's already way too much. So you would maybe want to shift down and trying to play less cards to go in the corner. Now, you can strategically take the corner a little fast, and you're just going to have to brake that much harder, and that's going to cause your engine to overheat. So you're going to take the heat card that's in the middle, and you're going to put that in your discard pile. Now, having heat in your hand, it just clutters your hand. So you've got this heat in there that you can't do much with. So you're trying to avoid some of the heat, but you can kind of strategically overheat your engine a little bit. But if you take heat and there's not enough heat to take out of the engine, then you spin out and it sends you back to like the last corner, and then you're behind and you're struggling. And Jen, that happened to her in our game at the first corner. She never recovered. Oh, no. But she's like, whatever.
Like, I remember her saying, like, she goes, I didn't come in 6th. I came in 12th, and there was only 6 people there.
So far back. But like, you can go down into the lower gear. Like, if in first gear, you only get to play 1 race card. So you're not going to catch up with anybody with that. But you can clear 3 heat out of your hand when it gets reshuffled in. And like, I don't know how she shuffled her deck, but they did not show up. Like,
oh,
they're
no.
like, where are all these
Just bad luck.
But it was so neat. It was such a fun game, and I absolutely love it. And I like the race themed games because my boys would play those often, so I would get a lot of those. And this one does it so well. But that is my number 5, Heat, Pedal to the Metal.
Awesome. All right. My number 4 is one that we both played, and this is Biome. Now, Biome is, I'm going to say it's like a wingspan with a bit of take that in it. And so you basically have these player boards that look similar to Wingspan, but instead of playing in rows, you have like kind of ecosystems in well, they're not columns, but in groupings. So you have your marshland, your desert land, and your jungle, I believe they were. And so you're going to place cards in them like you would in Wingspan. But the difference is you're only going to ever activate 1 card per game. Like, once you've activated that card, it's not getting activated again. Well, except for, there's one exception, which I'll explain. But what happens is you're going to go through these actions in a season, And most of them are simultaneously. You will like grab a card, you will grab some couple resources, you will play a card, and then there's a seasonal action which you kind of do in turn order, and then at the end everyone's going to activate one card simultaneously. So a lot of it is played simultaneously. Now, you play these cards, and what you're trying to do is get trees by, well, not always, but if you have trees by birds or some sort of shrubbery, tree, or bush near a bunny, then in the summer season, you're going to nest. So you're going to be able to put these nests on your board, and they're little actual nests, like
They're actual nests.
they thought I actually made them from my yard, but they came with the game. I did get the deluxe version, but you
That is
place
unreal.
them, yeah, you
Like,
place them on your board, which is in between the bird and the nest, or the bunny and the whatever shrubbery you have. And then you place these little baby chicks or baby bunnies in the nest, depending on how many the bird would produce or the bunny. I think the bunny always produces 6. They're just like, they multiply like crazy. Anyway, so then that's in the spring. So then you're going to do another round, and then when it's summer, there's going to be a predation period. So if people have predators that they have placed on their board, if they have them in the same area, like say in the jungle, and you have some baby birds in the jungle, they can attempt to eat your baby birds. And how they do that is they'll roll the dice, and they need to get, I believe it's equal to or higher than the amount of trees you have in that area, which gives protection.
Yeah.
And if they've beat you, then they'll get to eat 2 baby birds. And for each predator, they can do this, but they still have to roll for each predator. And so you choose somebody like, oh, I see Mel has lots of baby birds in her jungle, and my alligator is going to, try to eat them. And I was successful, so those baby birds go away, and I get 2 points for each of them. If I failed, I still get to grab 3 cards. Cards are awesome because the more cards, the better, and you can always trade them in for resources. Every 2, I believe, is a resource. Mm-hmm. So, you don't get nothing. Now, if my baby birds and my bunnies survived and nobody ate them, I can feed them, and they eat the food that their mother needed to play that bird. So that's their, what they want to eat. So it could be, rats, fish, just all kinds of different things, leaves if it's bunnies and things. If I have those resources, I can pay them, and I've fed those bunnies, birds, they go away, and I get 2 points for each one. So that's part of it. Now, there's another thing I put in our game was one of the expansion modules where every fall, I think, we migrate. And so we take one card from each of our board and we pass it to the player on our left and we put it on their board. So you're going to move some of your animals around the board. That only actually happens twice in a game because there's 3 rounds and you don't do it in the first fall. So 2 more falls and then you will do it. Mm-hmm. The game will end after 3 years, or if somebody has filled their whole board, which that triggered our game before the end of the 3 years. But we had so much fun playing this because it was like, cool. What do you someone couldn't get predators, and like me and I think Brent had a bunch of predators, or me and you maybe had a bunch of predators. He couldn't get one single predator till finally near the end of the game. And funny. And there's like some of the cards you'll activate, it'll say I'll give somebody a point and somebody a card, and so you're always giving the back player the stuff, and I was typically in the back, so I was getting all these things because everyone felt sorry for me, and it actually helped me because then I could build up more things. And it was just a really neat game. Like I was impressed. I thought, like, I haven't heard about this one, but it just looks so good. Like, is it not? Am I seeing something that's not there? But I really liked it, and I know Michelle was intrigued by it. She didn't play it, and so she played it the next day with Bree, and then she ended up buying it. She ordered it right away. So, but no, that was my number 4, Biome. Very neat one to check out.
Yes, that was a cool one. Mm-hmm. All righty, my number 4 is Forestry. Now, this was my second attempt at playing Forestry because the first time we were at the Rocky Mountain Retreat and you guys got playing this. Okay, let's play one more game. I was like, okay. And you got pulling it out and you kept pulling out and you kept pulling out. And it was 1:00 in the morning. I was like, I cannot play this right now. Like, this is ridiculous. I was like, okay, I'm going to bed. And you guys ended up playing it and I didn't. So this time I played it for real. And this was my player board. So you have like that big round board in the middle that has like these 3 different segments that'll produce different type of trees. Because we need to kind of collect the trees, and then we're going to utilize these trees to create different things depending on the cards or contracts that we've located. And this is one of those games that you can do multiple things for points. I ignored a lot of it, and I was like, oh my God, I might be in trouble. Because I concentrated on just contracts, basically. I went collected trees and I created contracts. And I did, like, that's what I concentrated on the most. So I only had, I think, one of my house token placed. So while, like, a lot of the other ones had, like, cleared almost all of that. And then in that top corner grid, like, you can place, I don't know what those tokens were called, the little square tokens, but like tending the forest or whatever.
Yeah, you were tending the forest, yeah.
Yeah, and you can add that to the grid. And I had 2 of them while some of you guys had like it almost filled in. And then you had the leaves because you can also reforest. Like if you collect the trees, it would flip the tile over to like there's no trees there, and you had to reforest, like plant a tree in order to be able to collect a tree from there again. And I had done a fair bit of that because I was collecting trees and completing all these contracts. So I had more leaves there. And then on the
gave you
side,
lots of points too. Points and then lots of star power to move around your circle there.
Yeah, so I was able to kind of move around that a little bit more too. And then on the side, like you could build a bridge, or you could build this other thing that would kind of provide you with a multiplier. Now, I had none of that throughout the entire game, while some of you had like built both of those. And that just kind of indicated what would be multiplied. And lucky for me, at the very end where I ended up, I was able to build the 1, and I got the multiplier for the leaves, which is the only thing I completed anyways. So then that was good. Now, I was in the lead almost the whole game because I was doing the contracts. Those are scored right away. But I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to maintain this lead because you guys have all these things that's going to score at the end. And it worked out because I was able to maintain my lead. Now, the player board plays, there's 2 sides. You could do the one side where everybody's the same. And we played the, I'm assuming B side or whatever, where we all had a special ability. And my ability was every time I completed contracts, I could activate these different things. And then that would give me a little bit of bonus stuff. And then once per round, I could refresh that, and that would give me extra points. So that's why I concentrate on the contract, because of the character that I had. Your ability was, I forget, what did yours do?
What did I have again? Oh, every time I placed a tree in my storage there, I got a little bonus. So like either money or star power or points. Yeah, I did, which I didn't use wisely. Like I should have been the one. I should have been doing contracts like crazy, because every time I put a tree up there and I didn't upgrade my storage quickly, which I should have. Like I really didn't use my player power wisely, but but next time I'll do better. It's a neat game. This is actually my number 3, so we're back to back here. So this is perfect.
I see. Yeah. Because it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I am really glad I didn't try to play it at 1:00 in the morning. Because there's a lot to this game. And then like you have these tracks on all like this side, because you can move this guy over and activate these special abilities on the track as well. So there's a lot going on to it. But it was a really cool game, and I did enjoy it.
Yeah,
but
no,
that
good.
was my number 4, and then I'll go and bring up your number 3 since it's your number 3.
Yeah, it's great because it's
and then
very
I have
quick playing.
The wrong picture here apparently.
It's a very quick playing Euro. I had played it with 2 players within an hour. I think even our 1:00 game we played just over an hour. With 4, it was a little bit more. It was closer to 2. but we had like
Yeah.
everybody was doing, a lot of some very longer turns because they had a lot of bonus, combo things going on. So, but it's a very, I would say it's rule heavy, but it plays fast because there's only 20 turns that, I mean, it looks like it would be a 4-hour game when you look at it, but it's really not. It
Yeah.
plays quite a bit quicker than you think it would. But yeah, it's awesome. All right, so what's
Neat.
your number 3?
I don't know. My number 3 is Biome.
There we go.
Biome.
All right.
I did enjoy this. And now I
Yeah.
took on mine because I wanted since I knew we had this crossover. On your picture, I showed like the nice board of everything that it included. On my picture, I try to zoom in a bit more on the nest. And you could see the corner, like the nest, and then I had the chicken in it, the bunnies and stuff. Like unreal. How is that possible that this is a board game component that comes in the game?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, Carla must have went and played in the yard with mud and sticks, and she made little nests. But like, this is
I'm not that crafty.
This is in the game. It's unreal. But it was so really satisfying to play this game. It was cool. And then like you collecting these. And then sometimes it's like, okay, I don't have enough food to feed them all. You might as well come and eat these chicks.
Yeah. Well, and there's one thing I didn't mention too is I don't know if anybody had the vulture. There's a couple vultures
Brett
in the game, but
did.
Okay, so if they didn't get eaten by predators and if you couldn't feed them, the vultures would come and get them at the end of the season.
And eat the dead birds.
Yeah,
it's macabre. But like it was neat though. And it was neat because like we had those 3 cards to start with that we kind of had put that gives you like a bonus for placing a card on there.
Right.
And that's where the one across from us had like that predator one. And he wasn't getting. Who was across from me? Was it Carl?
Chris.
Who?
No,
Chris. Yeah, and he was like, "What the heck? What the heck?" It was hilarious.
And we would pull like 8 cards around at least, and he would not get a predator. It was quite funny.
Mind you, it had to be the predator in that
where he needed
environment as well, right? Like because there was that going on. But this was such an interesting game. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's kind of like with Wingspan where you get like the art and then like the thing, like it's satisfying just to look at your cards. Making the things work with each other depending on where you're placing it, that was satisfying as well. I thought this was just a really neat game.
Yeah, it was. I know Brent kept saying because he didn't know that it would say predator on it. He goes, "Oh yeah, my butterfly's a predatory animal."
Like a monarch butterfly predator. Well, because the mammal was like the face of a lion, and he was like, "Well, it's a lion. That's a predator." It's like, but not the animal you have. But it was funny.
It's good. We had fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Great game.
Well, my number 2 is one I thought you played, but now I think about it, you were playing Boonlake, I'm pretty sure, at this one. And this is Emerland, Everdell Emerland, that I had taught.
Oh, yes. No, did not play that one.
So this is another version, the newest version of Everdell. And I got to teach this and play it. And of course, I love it. I could be my favorite of the extended family of Everdell. Silver Frost.
So is this like a standalone?
Yeah, so there's Farshore, Silver Frost, and now there's Emerland.
Oh,
and so this one is kind of a jungle theme. And so what happens is same kind of thing. You have, your cards in the middle that you can build, and you build a little forest. You can only put 12 cards in your forest this time instead of 15. And your ham limit is only 6 instead of 8. But instead of events like they have in Everdell, you collect these, I'm blanking of the name, but there's certain cards and they give you endgame points. And for every one you have, you can extend your population in your forest. So those are important. The little resources, instead of like berries, you have figs and you have harps in these ones, and those will let you build critters for free. You have leaves, like palm leaves, bamboo, marble, and there's one more resource now. I can't remember, but so it's all different things. But the big difference in this one is these cards upgrade, so they flip. So the
Oh,
buildings, you'll build them, and when you can go and do an upgrade action, you will flip that card and get to activate it again. And then you can place a harp on it to build a free critter that you will get to flip automatically. So they will be on their upgraded side. And there's all kinds of things you can do just like in there, but this one also has workers and little assistants. So mine were worms. I think I had a frog and a worm, and I know Michelle had a firefly. I can't remember what her big critter was, but her little assistants were fireflies. And what they do is you can go to a spot where somebody already is and bring one of your little tiny assistants, and they can act as a negotiator. So if somebody is there, you can go there as well. Where typically in spots in Everdell, you can't go
you're
where
kind of
somebody is.
booted out. Yeah.
Or,
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
or you can use these little assistants as guides. And so you can go somewhere where there's nobody with a guide and double that action space.
Oh,
So get
nice.
twice the reward. So it's really clever how they do it. And then in every
Right.
season you get the first season you get another guide. Second season I think you get a critter, and then in the third season you get two more of each. So you get quite a bit in the last season. Now, it also adds artifacts to the game, and this is just another type of action you can do. You get to pull these artifacts from the bag, and usually you'll get to pull like two or three, and you always ever keep one, and they will have points on them and possibly an action. Now, I must have pulled from that bag. I'm not kidding, probably 20 to 25 times. There are artifacts with point value of 1 up to 7. I
Right.
think I never pulled anything higher than a 2. I'm like, come on, how is this possible? Couldn't do it, but that's how it rolls. But it's neat because then you can, you have your little end game points with that. You have them from those cards that I said you can build. Then you also have this architect that I didn't bring the little 3D kind of maze that comes with because I usually keep them all built and I don't build
Right.
them every game. So I just brought the flat board. But it's this little 3D thing where your architects will move through this maze, and every season they can go to a different spot and gather points. And then if you get all the way through at the end, you get big game points. And
Right.
it's quite neat. It just adds something different to it. But there's just a lot of different things they added this time that were just very clever. Like it still has the real taste of Everdell, but with some real extra things. And I know Michelle was also a big fan of Everdell and Jen, and well, Brie as well. But I know those two, I think, were going to purchase this one because it was just awesome, and we just had a great time playing it too. But it's lovely. The art is beautiful. They use the art from uh, Mr. Cuddington, which is a husband and wife team, and they do a
Oh,
lot of different games, and it's just beautiful art in this one. They're all beautiful art. Like it started with Andrew Bosley, and then they kind of chose a different artist for each of these like spin-offs of it. And this
right.
one is beautiful as well. But yeah, that's my number 2, Everdell Emerland.
Nice. All righty. My number 2, I could not pronounce for the life of me until I got home and I'm like, I'm an idiot. And that was this one. So it's Orloj. And I was like, it's Orloj or Orlo. And I was like, I have no idea what this
Orloj.
is. But the game is based on a clock in, what is it, Portugal or something? In
Prague.
Prague. In Prague. There's an
Yeah.
astronomical clock that's an actual thing. And
Mhm.
this game is based on this. And clock in French is pronounced horloge.
Oh.
So that's where the
Because
name
I
comes
think
from. It's
they,
probably like,
oh, that's because they had said it was Orloj is how you pronounce it, but that could be
I
wrong
think they're
too.
wrong. I think it's horloge
That's the French
because
name.
that's clock in French.
Oh, okay.
Horloge.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, why did I not clue in? What kind of French person am I? But
I'm gonna look it up right now. How to pronounce?
yeah, because it's based on a clock. Now this game has a lot to do with it. There's a
Oh, it
lot of
is.
movement.
So it's a Czech word
Yeah.
referring to the astronomical clock is pronounced Orloj. Rhymes with door. Okay, that doesn't make sense. It
Rhymes
says
with
Loy.
door.
It says or rhymes with door, and then it says Loy rhymes with boy. Let's say or Loy. Don't say
Orloj.
door or Loy
Well,
or
it's based
lore.
on Orloj,
Anyway,
and that
yeah,
makes a whole lot of sense. But
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna call it Orloj.
yeah.
I'm
Because
just
you're
gonna be like,
French. Yeah.
I'm using the French pronunciation. But look at this board.
Oh yeah.
There's so much going on to it, and that's the board. Then you have the thing above it. I'm not even showing my player board. If you
Yeah.
look further down, you can look, see the players' boards. There's tons to this game. And she was going through the teach, and she did a good job teaching it,
Yeah,
but
she
there's
did.
a lot to consider. And I was like, oh my God. And a bunch of these things are like, it changes depending on the number of player. You got to build all these. There's so much to this game. It is unreal. And as you're playing, there is so much to this game, and it is unreal. But it does kind of make sense. Like everything does kind of fit and work together. Now, my biggest complaint with this game is the downtime. Oh my God, there's a lot
There
of
can be
downtime.
some long combo turns. That's true.
And like Jen would go, and then she's like going and she's playing, and I went to the bathroom and I came back and she's still going because she had combo-tastic this thing so much. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I had just come from playing a game that like had simultaneous actions or whatever. So I was like, this was like night and day, but it was really interesting. And you have like these, like the clock in the middle, and you're trying to play your things on there, and like you're trying to create a bit of like a cluster of your workers on there. Now, certain place where you're setting your worker is permanent, and that's going to stay. And if you can build like the outer ring of the clock and the inner ring of the clock, and then there's the grid on the side of what you need to pay. And as you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go there. I'm going to build this one. So I'm going to do like the number 3 on the clock, let's say. And I'm going to need ink and gold. And depending on what had been revealed, it adds to the price of what you require to be able to add that. And then you can add these things. That's one component. Now, in order to be able to do that, you first have to move on the main thing in the clock and then be like, okay, well, I can go, I have a movement of 1, so I can go here, but I can take damage on my board to push further, and then I'm actually going to go 2, and then that shift the clock around to kind of keep track of where you're at, and then based on what is on that thing, which action I can activate. So that has like a whole rondel action selection thing. There's also on the one corner, like you can go and acquire these cards, and you got to spend these things that's going to go, and you're building these things, and you can match up symbols to complete that extra action if you build multiple cards and you match up the symbols. And my symbols never matched up, not a single time. And it was just like, oh great, that symbol's on the wrong side to match it up. So I have half of a thing and then half of that. Whatever. Like, and then Jen had like, it matches here, matches here, matches. Of course it does. Yeah. But like, and then you can go and acquire those. And then on the other thing, you have the track that you go up on. And if you get to the top 2 portion, is going to increase what you can score. So end of game scoring, you want to be up on those tracks. But also as you move up, it makes where it's like, well, I'm not just moving by 1 now. I can move between 1 and 3 because I've moved all the way up here. So it does kind of make you more powerful but then there's 3 different tracks to move on. I'm like, all right, which one are we going up on? Like, and I didn't do a whole lot of that either, but like there's just a lot of different things that you can concentrate on your player board. And then I had concentrated on where like my ink produced so much, because gold is tough to make. So right away I'm like, okay, let's go make some gold. So if you go all the way up in your production on one of the thing, then you also produce gold. So I had like moved my ink. So I was like, okay, I can make a lot of ink. And I was like, and I kept trying to produce ink because that gave me gold. And at some point it gave me coins. And then, but it was a really neat game. I did like it. I just, to me, to look at it, it's going to be...
It's going to be intimidating for some people to look at it.
And I think some people would be like, I can't do this, and walk away just because it looks so intimidating. Yeah. I think like there's a lot of like things that comes together that you, so like the setup and tear down would be horrific.
Yeah. You definitely need an insert in this box because it's just a box of chaos.
Oh my god. Like there's it's intimidating. Like the gameplay though was really good. Neat, so that's my number 2. I'm calling it Orloj. Carla calls it Orloj.
Well, my number 1 is Orloj as well. This was the best game of the convention for me. Yeah. And, you know, I'll just say a couple things. It was, like you said, the setup is daunting. John, my husband, had just walked in to kind of check in and had to tell me a few things, and he looked at it and he's like, oh my gosh. He had seen me watching a video on this, and then when he's seen it in person, he's like, wow, he goes, I don't think I'll play this one. I'm like, yeah, it's probably not one for you. But oh, it's just awesome. There's so many ways you can go to victory in this one, I know. I was at a different table than Mel. We had 2 tables set up at this one. And we were all pretty like close together. The difference was I had a bunch of assistants. You know how you can get those end game assistants at the end?
Yeah.
I think I had 5 of them. And so I worked on their end game points quite a bit. So I just squeaked by with the win because I had so many end game just from them. But I didn't really work on the clock as much as some of the other ones. So I didn't think that I would... Because I think once we started scoring that clock, I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm going to catch up to anyone. But my endgame assistants did. So there's different like things you can really go hard on the clock because you can get a lot of points for that. You can build those stained glass windows that hold your assistants. And if you, like you said, if you can match up those cards together, you get a bunch of more bonuses out of that. There's just, I don't know if you mentioned the apostles, how you place them on that grid of your player board and you get bonuses, and then you can get points for columns of those if you have that as a scoring option.
Right, yeah.
Different things like that, and just how the game triggers with if people pass in the game. Now, I noticed, like, I think only 2 of us ever passed once in the game.
I ended up having to pass once or twice.
Yeah, but Jen said, like, in a 2-player game you have to pass because people aren't bumping out your workers, which makes sense because there's only 2 of you, whereas with 4 we were just getting bumped out quite a bit, so we didn't have to do that pass action. So that didn't move the rooster up because every time you would pass, that would kind of quicken the game. So I could see how a 2-player game could be even that much more fast. Like, I don't know if you had said it, probably wouldn't play this at 4 again just because of the downtime, but 2 or 3 would be probably the sweet spot for this game. But I am going to set it up and try it solo and see how it works. But it is a big setup, so we shall see. Yes. But I have a little bit of news. My son has bought a house, and he is taking possession on the 24th of June, which is very soon. We are today recording on the 5th. And so I am going to have a games room downstairs. So I will have a table set up down there that I can just have games set up. Another table. I do actually have games set up on my kitchen table and my coffee table. But now I have a third one that I can have stuff set up. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, so Orloj or Orloj, I don't even know how to say it in French. Orloj is my number 1. What is your number 1? I'm trying to think. We did all our crossovers, so... Oh, I know what it is. Do you? Does it start with a B?
It starts with the B. So my number 1 is Boonlake. And I played it again. And I mean, like, I didn't even have to change the slide. My number 1 last episode we did was Boonlake as well. But I got to play it again, and I taught this game this time, and it was still so satisfying. Oh my God, I'm a fan. And this was funny because Travis was selling this game. He's like, I've owned this game. I never even unpunched it yet. Like, obviously, I'm not getting it played if you want to buy it. And I'm like, know nothing about it. Sure. And I compared this one as like Great Western Trail meets Terraforming Mars, or not Terraforming Mars, Terra Mystica.
Yeah.
And we played it, and it was just so neat and satisfying. And the one thing that I really like about this one is I will activate an action. I will do the action. There's a secondary action that chances are I can also do the secondary action, but everybody can do that action as well. So each round, everybody's doing something. Like, there's no downtime with this game at all. And that was the first game we played at Car Treat. So I was like, okay, great. And then I went to Orloj, where there was like so much downtime. I'm like, okay, I really enjoyed Boonlake. But it was neat. And this time I concentrated on those levers because I hadn't done it the time we had played it.
Yeah, we didn't do much of that.
Because I wanted to refresh playing it. So me and you played it so that it was fresh in my mind for me to teach it. And it's a fairly simple game to teach. Like, it's not super complex. You just got to go through
together. Like,
it works really well. Yeah. So you do the action. The action can be a combination of buying levers or placing something on the board, or placing a cow, or upgrading what's on the board, or collecting cards, or selling cards, or like it's fairly straightforward. And it's one of those, like, as you place things on board, it reveals things on your own player board, so that when you do the income phase, you get to collect more things based on what you've revealed on here. And at the end of your action phase, then you move along the river, and you're going to go along this river twice. Like, the first time you're going to turn around and it sends you back at the beginning of the river. And then the second time you're going to go, and you're going to go towards the bottom. And there's a couple of, like, I don't know, they're dams or something. And as you cross, you have interim scoring, and then you're going to be doing that. So you're going to score 4 times in the game when you pass those things. And then at the end, you do the final scoring as well. And it was just such a neat, satisfying, absolutely amazing game. I love this one. And that's my number one, Boonlake.
Awesome.
Because it's so good.
Yeah. It's great. And yeah, it was a good weekend. We had lots of fun.
So yeah, that was our Car Treat games. And now coming up, we got Melcon coming right up.
Yeah.
Like, that's not this weekend, it's next weekend. So we'll have to do a Melcon recap as well.
I wonder if we should do that before the next one, because
I think we need to.
We might have to, yeah. And we'll play a whole bunch of different games there. Yeah, that's true.
It's funny because it's like, oh yeah, Melcon's coming. I know the dates. Melcon's coming. And then I was like, holy wait, like, Melcon's almost here. It's like, I better make sure. Like, it just kind of sneaks up on you a little bit. But yeah, and I've done Melcon around our birthday because me and you, we share the exact same birthday. And I've done it around our birthdays ever since 2019. So it's been an annual thing. So that means it's going to be the 7th Melcon.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? I have no idea who's coming.
How many we've done, but I have to count.
Yeah, so I have no idea who's coming because I don't really take registration. But like, here's the information, show up. Cost is by donation, so whatever you want to contribute towards Melcon to help pay for the. And I'm not too concerned about it because it's my gift to me on my birthday. So it's like, whatever, this is my gift to me. But if you make it so it's not as expensive, that's amazing. This year as well, it's also going to be a CGDA prototype playing. So we're currently on the first stages of the CGDA judging, so where people from across Canada can judge on these games. But at Melcon, you can actually play a prototype and judge it that way. And now CGDA is a Canadian Game Design Award, and we've got sponsors. So there's going to be a lot of prizes. If you play test one of these prototypes, you'll be getting kind of sponsor prize for going through the prototype. And I've got 3 that's been sent to me here now, and then there's more coming. I know there'll be 5 prototype minimum at Melcon, and there's a few more that's going to be kind of coming up. And you don't have to have done the first tier judging to do the second tier judging. So you can kind of play and contribute. And it's just neat because then you're kind of helping out these future game designers to, help promote or help give feedback towards their game, but then also kind of help pick who the Canadian Game Design Award winner is going to be. So that's exciting. And Melcon's going to be amazing. And Car Treat was amazing. Mm-hmm. And I'm just excited.
Yeah. And they're so close together. It's like, oh, we get
these ones were.
And then we get a game again for a weekend. So yeah.
Which is good because after these game events, like, okay, I want to play more. Like it doesn't be like, okay, I'm gamed out. It's more like,
no,
all right, I'm warmed up now. Yeah. Let's get going. So.
It's satisfying. Like I feel my cup is full after, but I still just want to keep playing because it's like, I had so much fun. I just want to have more fun.
The cup is full, but look at that. There's another.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be good.
All right. Well, until next time, where can people find you, Mel?
So be sure to check us out on our Discord channel. As I mentioned, we do a BGA day every Monday as well. So you can join for that. But we do chit chat and share a bunch of gameplays. And then the members on there share a lot. And it's really cool to see what everybody's playing and have some really neat conversation. We're trying to talk a few people to move into Canada. Yeah. On our Discord channel.
I think they're slightly considering it.
It's not a hard no.
Yeah, we haven't got a hard no yet.
So, but yeah, it's been cool that way. Just kind of the community behind the podcast.
It's fun.
Yeah. Otherwise, I am on Instagram at Mel's_boardgame_room. I'm also on YouTube, Facebook, and Bluesky as Mel's Board Game Room. And how about you, Carla? Where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram at boardgamespecialist, all one word, and I have a Facebook page called Red Deer Board Game Fanatics.
Nice.
All right. Well, until then, you will hear about Melcon next. So
yes.
Have a good couple weeks, and thanks for listening.
Bye, everybody.